What?
What do you mean, what?
I don't want to be in it either.
Well, are we already recording? So you in it, son. We 8 seconds in.
What do you want me to say?
It's going to be the most awful YouTube channel in history. I'm telling you this.
Put the motor in.
Straight up Vice Grip Garage right here.
Put the motor in.
You ain't with it sitting there. Get it off. Not like that. Hell, I know you like Dodges, but... We about to put the motor in, guys. Make it go vroom vroom. Planned that out, didn't you?
It's pretty anticlimactic, I ain't gonna lie.
This is process. This is the process. Trust the process.
So what process?
Trust the process. Good job.
Hey, we're getting motor in.
Hey, is that cherry picker holding anything?
I hope so. We're gonna find out. Yeah, it is. Holding an engine.
Ha ha ha. Alright. Now, I'm hoping we film it and it'll be like all the shows on YouTube, you know. Oh, hey, it's off stand. Now it's in.
That's what we're gonna do. So just cut it off and it'll be in next time.
Put it in. Move your stand out of the way. Let's go. Let's get this in here. Come on, cherry picker. Work with me. 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 Work with me.
In the side of the car.
I said we was putting it in. Didn't say into what.
Didn't say in the fender. All right, you don't have to go up.
All right. Yep.
This is OSHA approved here.
100%. This is how professionals do it. We are professionals.
Where are the professionals at? Rocking the engine stand.
Got it. Ooh.
All right.
Good enough.
Ease down on her. Slow now. Slow. That wiper motor about to get taken out right there. Come on.
You might have to pull up a little bit.
Yeah, pull it forward.
Just a tad. Oh,
That's
good enough. Ooh, stop rocking.
Y'all ready?
Stop
I'm ready.
Rocking the boat. What's crazy is I can...
Get on my side.
Yep. Put over here.
What?
Looks like we're gonna hit the
Steering column?
steering box.
Steering box? Oh, no, you're good. Keep going.
No, I mean, I know. It just looks like when it goes all the way down, it's going to.
I got it better not. That's an A-body exhaust manifold. It better fit in this body.
Oh. Maybe a body, but is it the body?
I hope so. Whoa, whoa, come up.
I can already tell you it ain't gonna work.
It's gonna work.
Ain't gonna work.
Why the hell ain't it gonna work?
Because you're 3 inches from the perch and it's sitting right directly on top of that steering shaft.
Oh, it's got a curl
It
around
goes
it.
back, yeah.
Go down.
Oh, hey, fine.
calm down. Just calm down.
Hey.
Oh no!
You're hitting
my paint now.
Yeah, you're right on top of the steering shaft over here.
We gotta tilt the engine way back. I mean, way back.
Well, it won't until we get it off the steering shaft.
Really? Do you think we're gonna have to install that manifold with the engine in the car?
Yes.
I hate that.
Cut. All right, and we're back. Finally got the motor in. Didn't take but what, 2 more minutes? Just had
2 minutes. Just 2 minutes.
had to
Maybe
cut.
2 days.
Had to cut, you know, where we get all hands on deck here and get it in.
Right,
I mean, nothing looks any different than it did last time.
Nope.
It's just
slid right in.
just slid right in.
Transmission fell right on. Nothing crazy. Didn't run into any trouble at all.
Never mind the sun's shining now and we're all wearing different clothes,
Yeah.
but
It just slid right in. Just 2
yep,
minutes later.
no trouble. I mean, YouTube magic. Boom, just like that. It's in.
In reality, it's 2 days later. Now, granted, we didn't work on it much yesterday, but we did have the engine and transmission in now. Didn't have a whole lot of trouble getting the engine in, but it gave us some trouble. But for the most part, slid right in, bolted up where it needed to. The transmission was kind of tricky. It's really heavy. Couldn't lift it up on our air jack, so kind of had to wrestle it in on with the floor jack on the ground. But it is in now. It's bolted up. The wired harness is laid over the engine. Everything plugged up with the transmission. We ran into some trouble that you kind of could see in the last little section of the video where the driver's side manifold was hitting the steering shaft. That wasn't the only problem with that driver's side manifold. This is a 73 340 HP driver's side manifold for an A-body. It has to rise up to clear all the power steering stuff. And it comes really close to the block. And that is a Magnum engine, and this is for an LA, and I guess it's different right around this area where that piece curves towards the block. We had clearance issues, and you can see right here where we kind of had to grind down the head to clear the manifold. Another thing that's going to help is we were trying to do no gasket, just because cast iron, didn't have to run a gasket on it, but a gasket's going to be required here just to get us off the block, so everything will seal up right.
What type of gasket are you going to use? I'm
using a multi-layered aluminum gasket, not your cheap parts store $5 gaskets. I've heard it's called dead aluminum, just multi-layered aluminum gasket. I've used a Taylor's brand before. I'm using a Mr. Gaskets brand now. I caught it on sale. I've never had any trouble out of those. They're reusable, really, really good exhaust gas.
Awesome.
But we also got the power steering pump put on using the factory Dakota pump. To my surprise, the factory high pressure line threaded right in the back of it. I've heard that you got to change out the fitting for the back or something with the pressure valve on the back of it, but I didn't have any trouble with the 96 pump and the 72 high pressure line. Bolted right up. Obviously, we haven't started it yet to see if we're going to have trouble with it, but it threaded right in. For the return, just a high pressure fuel, not fuel, but power steering pump hose for our return line there. Nothing crazy. It's kind of inconvenient the way it turns forward, but it being it's the factory Dakota stuff, I'm going to leave it for like warranty issues. If that pump ever goes out and they see I cut on it, they may try to not warranty it or something. So didn't want to deal with that future headache. So
far, the only modifications you've really had to do as far as cutting and grinding is the issue you ran into with the manifold.
With the manifold, and that's potentially because that's an LA manifold on a Magnum head, you know.
Sure.
You're going to run into stuff
well,
like
why
that.
did you use the LA manifold?
I used the LA manifold because the factory Magnum manifold on the driver's side is identical to the passenger side, where you see it comes down. It'll come down and go straight down. It doesn't have any sort of curvature up. And on the driver's side, with power steering at least, I've heard with manual steering they work, but with power steering, the power steering box is so much taller that you can't just go straight down with the manifold. You have to go up to clear power steering.
You ran into real estate issues.
Right, yeah, big time real estate issues. But we did get the starter on it. I got the little starter harness ran. I'm just trying to use all the factory Dakota stuff to make it easier to find parts in the future. Like if the starter harness goes out, I can go to any Dakota and grab a starter harness off of it. Won't have to do any kind of special cutting and putting ends on or anything like that. And so I'm using the factory Dakota starter harness through here. I have it run up to this common power stud just to make things easy and keep a jump spot in the engine bay. Since I have my battery in the trunk, this is just where I'm going to have all my common hots at. This is the main fuse panel feed right here that would used to go to the battery cable, but now, like I said, common hot. This is my battery cable going to the trunk, and then this is the battery hot for the starter. I did run a ground wire on the opposite side of the car, and it's right on the back of the head back here all the way to the battery in the trunk. And we did hook up an engine to firewall ground or an engine to body ground to kind of test and see if I could turn the key and it engage the starter, and sure enough it will. So I can't run it yet because I'm still waiting on fuel system stuff. Allergies are bad.
It's terrible this time of year.
But
it's pretty in green out here. I'm not just talking about the car either.
Pretty in yellow with pollen too.
Yeah.
But for the most part, the engine's in here. My biggest hurdle right now is going to be fuel system. I'm going to use this factory Dakota quick connect here off the rail, and kind of my idea is I'm going to come off the rail back to the firewall and have the factory fuel line that comes up on the passenger side. I'm going to run right up the firewall over there, make a T, and come right over to the to this metal section of the line. Make it real easy, real accessible, but try to make it as safe as I can. I'm going to try to use as little rubber line as I can. But as far as for the car, that's the most of it. Like I said, my next biggest hurdle is the fuel system, and we kind of have that in here. Old USPS has been giving me trouble. They're about a week late on my wherever it may be. Well, anyway, here it is. On my sending unit, like I said, this is our factory sending unit that we've modified to put a Walbro 342 pump on with a 45-degree fuel strainer. It matches up with the bottom of the tank just perfect. But I've been waiting on this little sending unit gasket here. I ordered it like a week ago at USPS. It's been a mess. But that's
we're about a day away from siliconing the crap out of it and sending it.
You ain't kidding. You ain't kidding. But we did get our turbo drain fuel return kind of put in. It's seal-alled. It's kind of backwoods, but this up here is above the fuel level in the tank, the way the sending unit comes in.
Listen, the only thing backwoods about this is the location.
Well,
that is straight up pro level work.
Yeah, I guess you're right. This is professional backwoods work.
Chrysler wished they'd have come up with this.
They're right. They wish they did. But our theory is the way the sending unit comes down, this is going to be, for the most part, above the fuel level. We don't have to worry about it leaking much, but I do have it seal-alled around both bolts and around the inlet here. It shouldn't leak, shouldn't give us much trouble. But this return, we had to have that because, as I mentioned, this is my filter/regulator. I don't have the factory Dakota stuff. It had a regulator built onto the factory pump deal, and I'm not doing that. I'm just having this Walbro pump that's going to be on when it's on, and it's just going to go. So I had to run some sort of regulator, and I wanted to keep things simple. Didn't want to do much like a regulator up by the rail. It's just not necessary for what I needed to do. So this is a filter/regulator out of I believe it's a 2001 Jeep Cherokee with a 4.0. It's supposed to regulate it to 58 PSI. So you have your inlet here, your outlet there. Anything over that 58 PSI is going to come back through this return. The return will go back into the tank here. Just the easiest way for me to do it in my case here. I know a lot of aftermarket A-body sending units come with a return already on them, but this is the factory one. It still worked. It's what I had. I'm going to make it work.
Way cheaper than aftermarket setup.
Way cheaper. I think right now, the filter was $16, and I think that the pump itself, the whole little pump kit was like $26, and then this particular 45-degree strainer is $12 or something. So all in all, way cheaper than a $400 pump setup, and it should work just the same. If not, you know, I'll spend the money down the road, but it should get me going for what I want to do. It's not going to be a track car where I got to worry about fuel slosh. It's not going to be a drag car. It's just going to be a get out on the highway and go down the road cruiser car. So as soon as we kind of get supposedly the gasket's a day away. I'm going to wait till tomorrow, see if the gasket will come in. If not, it's getting siliconed. We're going to, you know, seal all up the factory, the little O-ring here, and we're gonna put it together. I can't wait much longer. I gotta have this part going. So,
yeah, I mean, you're only 2.5 months away from power tour. We got to be going.
We have to be going.
And
I need this car running, so I have 2.5 months to figure out air conditioning.
We're like 3 days away from getting it running.
Less than that. So, another thing, last night my remote start kit come in from Excalibur. It's going to be a remote start alarm kit. I'm going to be installing that on this car. Being it's fuel injection, you know, you ain't got to get in it and pump the pedal a couple times. So it shouldn't be much trouble to install that remote start system. I could try to lay out some details on that if anybody would be interested in seeing it. But I went with an alarm system as well because it has a unique feature. This kit does. It's an add-on called Linker LT. It'll allow me to have an app on my phone to not just control the remote start system and power unlock system from anywhere, but it allows me to ping this car's location at any time, which is helpful since I plan on going to Power Tour. Last year at Power Tour, a couple cars unfortunately got stolen. I don't think, you know, hopefully, knock on wood, people aren't going to be going after these 4-doors, but it would be a really nice peace of mind to know that if something did happen to it, I can just ping the location anywhere. I'd be able to, you know, find where the car is. So I'm going to be putting that in. Today I did get confirmation that my gauges come in, so that'll be a little side project of putting my speed hut gauges in that panel and getting all that wired up. But that'll all be next. That's not necessarily required, but whenever I start getting in here and messing with all the interior wiring, like I'm gonna have an OBD2 data port, I'll have and my AC controlling that through the factory PCM. So I'm gonna be doing like my AC input, my tack signal, all that is run through here. So this is more important than the remote start stuff, but I'm kind of hoping to integrate it all together to make it easier. I'll just have a day or two or a week or two of interior wiring ahead of me. But that's kind of where the car is at. Once we get it back inside, we can work on the drive shaft. I'm just waiting on some specialized U-joints for the drive shaft.
Well, there goes Daddy riding BOGO around. Okay, anyway, so we're back. Not gonna say what happened. Major catastrophe happened. We forgot to pay the bills. They cut the lights off on us. We got that straightened out now. So where were we? We were talking about the best flavor of ice cream. So anyway, I like vanilla. I'm just plain simple guy.
Like birthday cake ice cream.
You are that guy.
I am that guy.
Anyway, what were we talking about?
Drive shaft.
Drive shaft.
Drive shaft.
Yep,
so
we need those.
I went to a junkyard. I found a random drive shaft. I couldn't tell you what it was out of. It was the only one that was straight. So had it cut to length, got everything measured for as far as from the transmission to the rear end. Had it cut 44.5 inches for this application, which is the 5.2 46RE to a 7.25 rear end and an A body. Mine ended up being, 44.5 inches. So we're using the Magnums or the 46RE's yoke to the whatever mystery drive shaft to the 7.25. I went to Napa. They were able to find some what they consider bastard joints of just off the wall combinations, but they were able to hook me up with
Yep,
one. Another one's is ordered, so it should be here soon.
I mean, that's scientific name, bastard joint.
It is pretty scientific.
Yeah.
But what's keeping us from running right now is putting the manifold on, getting the fuel system on, and getting transmission lines on, which I have those in there. I just don't have them on yet. Hopefully when we get it on the lift later this evening, we'll be able to have that buttoned up and ready for whenever the O-ring decides to come in. But in other news, it's almost go-kart season.
It is.
And the track.
Holy cow. You're right.
It's looking good.
You're right.
Let's walk out
We're
here.
getting there.
Ignore the
Ignore that piece of junk.
that's a piece of junk.
Yep. Lexus's version of a Toyota Supra. All 115 horsepower of it.
This is our practice go-kart track. We have a pretty popular home track that my uncle runs over here. We kind of got into, they started out with just neighbors and friends running around in some go-karts, and it turned into 300 people crowds and 50 plus go-karts, so naturally I had to go buy one.
Yeah,
I
just
ended up
a
with two.
common redneck weekend. 300 of your best friends, a go-kart track.
So being that go-kart track's about 10 minutes away, we had some landscape here. We decided to make our own practice track out here. It's all just been disced up for the first time this season, which we don't do any public races here or anything like that. Just a little play around practice track, get out here on a lunch break and make some laps. But yeah, it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun.
On this video, it looks like gravel, but it's not. That's just dirt.
It's something that we're just now starting to get into.
You just got to be careful coming out of turn 4 because there's a building real close to the track. You might want to miss that.
Ideally, I ran off the track 5 or 6 times.
Yes, you have. Had to make a detour around the shop building.
I have had to, you know, it's natural. It is
Yeah,
what
I
it is.
mean, hey, obstacle course.
But we're starting to get into this, starting to get back up around here. So that might be something we might make a video on or something like that.
Oh, we will definitely make a video on it.
Well,
I want to get a video of you hitting that building right there doing about 40.
I don't want to hit the building. Well, we could definitely get a video of it.
Been needing a back door in that building. All you got to do is hit it
Make
fast
one.
enough. That's
Make
right.
one. We'll paint the go-kart up like the Kool-Aid Man. Make a real good entrance.
You know what? There's a track here. I got $5 if you'll take the camera and run around the track making go-kart noises.
I'm not running around the track.
Look, you ain't no fun.
I'm not running around the track, period.
$10.
No.
That's the first time I've ever seen you turn down money.
You're asking a lot.
Nah.
You're asking a lot.
Nah.
But, anywho, this is our go-kart track. And that's an update on the Valiant. Maybe next time you see it, it will be running.
Oh yeah, and guys, in case you didn't know, this is the world famous York's Garage. If you hadn't heard of it, where have you been? This fellow right here and myself, we're business partners, co-owners of York's Garage.
You chose a really bad angle, you know. That's where the scrap pile is.
It is. Hey, I mean, it is what it is. That fellow right there is my daddy, Mr. John York, on the side-by-side. He's the patriarch of York's Garage. Been in the mechanic business for 50 some odd years. Right there is what holds the whole place together. Hi, Bogo. Hi. Hi. What are you doing?
I'm restless. I'd like to get down and walk around.
Bogo. Bogo. You gonna try to climb up here, buddy? You gonna climb up here, buddy? Well, all right. Until we have more updates.
Till next time.